14. Unbelievable smuggling seizures. But first, thanks Mateo for leaving us this comment on our scariest images from the past video. Be sure to tune in every day for some extra unbelievable facts and mind-blowing subjects. Also, don't forget to leave us your suggestion in the comment box below. Number 14. Potato pushers. Methamphetamine seizures have skyrocketed over the border between Mexico and the US in recent years. Border protection agencies managed to seize 14,732 pounds of meth in 2014. Mexico has basically taken over the drug market in recent years, providing a more potent product for a much cheaper price. Since much fresh produce comes from south of the border, they began to try to conceal their cargo to look less illegal. Here we see a seizure made by U.S. Border Patrol Customs at San Diego that was cleverly disguised to look like potatoes. Number 13. Drone druggies. With the increase in popularity of drones, drug smugglers are making an attempt on flying their goods across the border without taking the risk of getting caught in the same place at the same time as the contraband. Imagine walking from your car to the grocery store and coming across this drone that crashed in the parking lot. This drone here, however, didn't reach its target, and it was uncovered by law enforcement agencies in San Diego. The package of crystal meth weighed about 6.5 pounds, and it's believed that the sheer weight was what caused the crash. Other drones can carry up to 18 pounds no problem. It's quite shocking how drones could be the future solution to everything. Number 12. Cocaine. Colombian authorities uncovered a shocking shipment of what first glance looked like a shipment of coal, which is commonly transported internationally. However, working as border authorities, they'll be the first ones to tell you that looks can be deceiving. There are over 300 kilos of coke in containers painted black, looking like coal. Officials in Peru came across something similar when actual coal was drilled out and stuffed with a white powdery substance. Number 11. Big-time British bust. The Royal British Navy possibly made their biggest ever drug seizure in 2016 when they seized over 3 tons of cocaine, worth about 500 million British pounds. This took place off the Scottish coast with over 3 tons of contraband. That's heavier than most automobiles. French customs tipped off the British to be alert about a tugboat that had illegally entered international waters. 2 men were detained and they'll likely be spending quite a bit of time behind bars. The purity ranged from 54 to 74%, which is fairly high by European standards. Number 10. Family business. Luis Hernandez Gonzalez and his sister Salma Hernandez were running a family operation, peddling an extremely large amount of marijuana in Miami, Florida. Cops seized an astonishing $24 million worth of cash alongside this Tech 9 handgun. Miami police officers say it's one of their biggest cash seizures yet, and that's quite respectable coming from somewhere like Miami. $100 bills were stashed in orange buckets like we see here, inside a secret compartment at their mansion. Number 9. Oh Lord, don't let this statue fool you. Just because it's religious doesn't mean that drug smugglers won't try to use it to push their drugs. It's actually made of cocaine paste that criminals sculpted to look like a statue, but customs weren't fooled. Someone in Laredo, Texas is kind of wondering why the statue didn't get delivered to the house yet. It was found by customs looking through packages coming from South America. Although it might have seemed like a clever idea at first, the customs stated that no big-time dealer would ever go through the hassle of making this, and it was most likely from an amateur. Number 8. Bear paws. It's not just drugs customs and police are seizing. The wildlife black market is booming as well. In 2013, Chinese officials caught 2 Russian men attempting to bring 213 severed bear paws into China along the Mongolian border. Once bear paws cross the border, their value increases 10 times since it's used in controversial soups. Bear paws can catch a price for about $1,000 each in some cases. The demand for this has skyrocketed in recent years, and many believe this could lead to the black bear becoming endangered in parts of Asia. Number 7. Operation Sydney Fish. Police in Sydney, Australia dismantled a Chinese crime syndicate by a series of raids and collected 500 kilograms of cocaine from a fish market. The Chinese gangsters were using the fish market as a front to cover up their criminal activities. This turned out to be Australia's biggest drug raid ever, and they also came across $15 million in cold hard cash. Australian nationals appeared to be in on the operation as well, helping with the distribution. The product was brought in all the way across the Pacific Ocean from Chile to Sydney. Number 6. A Busty Bust. In February 2016, police in Australia found millions of dollars worth of meth stuffed inside shipments of bras. The clever criminals stashed the liquid form of the drug where women would normally find the padding. These toxic bras were stashed inside a shipping container where over a total of 50 gallons of liquid meth was recovered from this sneaky operation. 3 Hong Kong nationals were arrested in relation to the crime, and police kept about 1 billion Australians worth of drugs off the street. Meth use in Australia has tripled within the past 5 years, and this appears to have only made a dent into the country's epidemic. Number 5. Cruise ship couriers. If someone offered you the trip of your lifetime with absolutely no spending limit, and all you had to do was smuggle some drugs, would you do it? Melina Roberge and Isabelle Legrasse were 2 young, beautiful, and naive Canadian women who were caught smuggling $30 million worth of cocaine from South America into Australia. They enjoyed the trip of their lifetime first in French Polynesia, drinking from coconuts and getting tribal tattoos. South American kingpins will often look for people with Western passports to do the dirty work of moving weight into other countries. They had roughly 200 pounds worth of cocaine with them, and their lives will seemingly come to an end as they'll be facing the rest of it in prison. Number 4. Watermelon felons. As we mentioned before, drugs coming from Mexico can often be disguised to look like everyday exports. This also includes watermelons. But if you cut into this watermelon, the inside is not going to be red, just pure green. Smugglers from Mexico made a poor attempt at smuggling 3,000 pounds of marijuana disguised as watermelons into Texas. This seizure was worth an estimated $600,000, and drug pushers continue to get more and more creative. It seems to have reached a point where we don't even know how much is getting across our borders anymore. Number 3. Pressed for cash. Many of us have been short on cash at times and wish we could just go print it out at home instead of having to go to work. Although the government has made steps in recent years to make our money less vulnerable to counterfeiters, we still come across it sometimes. The country of Peru seems to be one of the biggest leaders in this practice, and in 2012, a raid took place in the capital city of Lima, where police found $2 million in phony cash and 1.5 million euros. This is just a very small fraction of how much is made in this country. The laws for committing this crime in South America is just a slap on the wrist, with the culprits only getting a warning for their first time, and the second time only having to spend a few nights in jail. The notes would have most likely been used in a drug deal and smuggled into other Central American countries. Number 2. Guns galore. The largest criminal weapons haul in Britain took place recently in 2016, when authorities found a total of 32 semi-automatic AK-47s and Scorpion machine guns, along with 1,000 rounds of ammunition. It's believed to be possible that these were the men who supplied the Charlie Hebdo attack in Paris, but that hasn't been confirmed. It's believed that the weapons were brought in from Eastern Europe and transported using a boat. Another huge seizure happened in Britain in 2016, where 500 guns were found, but they appeared to be more of an antique collection and not for criminal purposes. This included a Tommy gun, an antique bazooka, a German Luger, and other various antique guns. And number 1, the 26-ton seizure. The U.S. Coast Guard and the Canadian Navy was able to seize 26 tons of cocaine worth $2 billion on the streets of America. This took place off the coast of Florida with the help of a naval cutter. Over 100 smugglers were apprehended on 27 different vessels in a series of recent busts along the Florida coastline. They attempted to pass them off as shipping vessels and will label them as cargo such as pork and white sugar.